Howdo, I'm Chris, welcome to King Bespoke Creations. Now then, do you do inlays or would you like to do inlays? Well, if you do, this is the video for you. There's more than one way to do an inlay and not all of them have to involve mother of pearl at some point. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways of doing really nice, very attractive inlays. We're going to be ranging from the difficult stuff that everybody thinks about through to a really easy technique at the end. So make sure you keep watching. So let's start with that traditional style of inlaying stuff. Usually something like this. So this is just a big jar full of shell types, nice shiny things, multicolours in there, different shades, and obviously there's a million different types of these kind of things that you can get on the market. You can buy sheets of abalone, which is nice and flat and easy to use very quickly, or you get a random bucket of stuff like this that has weird shapes and edges that's going to need grinding off. Now this is a technique that requires a lot of patience. It takes time to cut each individual piece out and to match colours up as well to really create that picture that you have in your mind. Now there's a lot of different ways to start off with this kind of inlay. Quite often you'll find people using tracing paper and cutting out very specific sections to match up, make the entire inlay in place, then try and fit it into the block of wood, piece of furniture, whatever it is that you're making. But there's another way as well. One of them is to sketch out on here what you want to do in the first place. So I'm going to draw out a very simple butterfly because I think this kind of material fits beautifully with things like butterflies. Something like that. Now what I can try and do is now tip out some sections of these, have a look, what have we got? Some thick sections there, some beautiful shiny pieces, and decide, can I get pieces that match, that will fit that in there? Can I get another one that's a similar look to that in that one so that they match? So hunt out some pieces. The one you want might be right at the bottom of the jar. Root through and see what you can find. Now, once you've picked out your pieces of shell, we just need to cut them to size. Now, a lot of people will use a jeweler's saw at this point and spend a fortune on blades, but you don't have to. Any tool that works will do. I can't stress that enough. A standard coping saw with a wooden blade on it will cut most shell type material. You can use little files, they work really well. You could put a cutting or a grinding tool on your Dremel. Make sure if you're using any kind of power tool with dust though that you really do wear a mask. You don't want to be breathing in stone dust of any sort because it'll just settle on your lungs and stay there forever. So we can cut a section off with the saw, and then I'm going to use a half round file just to smooth it all out. So we just keep offering the piece up, filing and sawing until we've got the piece that we want to fit where we want it. But here's the trick that I like, is I'm only ever going to do one piece at a time. Rather than create the whole lot and then try and transfer it across, I'm going to do one piece and I'm going to recess that piece and glue it in, and then I'm going to do the next piece, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so here we come to fit the first piece. I'm happy with the outside edges where it's going to sit against wood in the final picture. But I've left the internal lines that are inside the inlay, I've left those a little bit on the big side, quite on purpose, because we'll make those fit the new pieces a little bit later on. So now we just need to remove this little section to the same thickness that I'm working to with my piece. So once you've cut out your section, we make sure that it fits nicely, which that one does. Now I like to put things in with something like a black super glue because it puts a really nice edge onto things and defines these pieces as individual pieces. And whether that's the look you're going to go for or not is completely up to you. So with that first piece in, we can then cut the second piece, cut the correct outside shape but also the correct inside shape as well, and then we score that in. And as we cut out this section, in the same way we cut this, we'll cut into that first inlay as well, so then we know that will be a perfect fit into there. So we can see there where I've scored off the second piece, and it's even scored into that first piece. Just using the marking knife, it's scored that in. See, we've got a perfect fit along that line there. So now we just want another piece of shell just to finish off that bottom curve, and repeat and repeat and repeat. And with enough repeat processes, we end up with a picture. Now, if you have a bit of patience and an eye for colour and shading, you can create something, well, significantly better than that. That is not my favourite way of doing inlays, and not just because it takes a very long time. Sometimes I've seen beautifully intricate and very skilled inlays using shell types materials, and it clashes with the piece in my eyes. Things like big rock guitars that then have this big intricate detail up the fretboard. It doesn't seem to fit for me. It seems a little chintzy in some areas. Don't get me wrong, the skill and the beauty of the individual piece is astounding, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it fits the process. It doesn't fit the furniture, the guitar, the instrument, whatever it is. Which leads me on to inlay style number 2. So inlay style number 2, well, it's very similar to inlay style number 1, except instead of using shells to inlay into wood, we just use wood to inlay into wood. Now we could get lots of different coloured woods with lots of different grain patterns and do the same kind of design in sections if that's what you want to do. And that's just going to be easier because wood is easier to cut than bits of stone and shell. But we could also just cut out one big butterfly and then engrave that with different things to make it a bit more detailed. So let's see what we're doing with that. Okay, so with the one piece cut out, I can then just score round it all with the knife in one piece, dig out the whole lot once with the Dremel, inlay that in, and then see where we go from there. So again, a little bit of black super glue underneath, use a knocking stick, tap it in, knowing that it's a tight fit, and then really simple to just plane this flush with the wood. This obviously needs flattening off, and that's going to be done with sandpaper on a nice flat block, but this is going to be an awful lot easier to do. there we go, inlay technique number 2. And again, with different coloured woods, you can give a completely different look, but I would consider that to be much easier than working with shell. And as a woodworker, I find it more enjoyable too. So that leaves us with inlay style number 3, the easy one. Both of these techniques have required you to cut something out and match that in with a hole to recess it as accurately as you can. But what if there's a way that you don't need to do that? Welcome to my little friend, UV resin. This stuff is fantastic. All we need to do with this is cut out the recess and then flood it with this. Now the UV resin literally sets within a couple of minutes using a little UV lamp. I'll put links in the descriptions for loads of this stuff, Dremel stuff, UV resin stuff, because it's brilliant. Now there's so many applications that you can use this for that its versatility is incredibly useful. I use this a lot, and not just because it's really easy. It gives so many different looks using things like these jewelry making equipment. So lots of different things that normally you'd string up to make a nice necklace or a bracelet or something like that, but these gorgeous pieces that you can just drill a hole, drop that in, cover it in the resin, and there you go, you have an inlay. I use these kind of things on guitar frets all the time because they look really classy and are very quick and simple to do. That's not the only thing we can do. There's a fantastic trick with this stuff where we can use gold leaf without faffing about with stupid gold leaf glue. So all we need to do with this is just cut out the shape, and we don't need to match it to anything that's going to be recessed with this. It's so simple. Then we're just going to put some of the UV resin in the bottom of there, maybe only about halfway full, and we're going to put that off with the UV light. And this is where we get to avoid the stupid glue that you've got to use that goes off forever. With this UV resin, when you put it off with the light, it goes hard, but it's got the slightest amount of tack left on it. So when you put gold leafing on the top, it sticks to it perfectly. And then you put some more resin over the top and it seals it in and it's there forever. So once you've poured it in, just make sure it's really got into the corners and just let it settle a little bit, just so that it's flat. If there's any air bubbles, pop them now. Without UV light, this thing just won't set. So inside my workshop with the windows on, the UV light doesn't get to it. It'll stay like that for a very long time. So there's really no rush with this. Once we've set it and it's got that slight tack, well, then you can get all different types of gold leafing, different shades, different colours, coppers, silvers, golds, bright golds. You can use anything you want. Today, I'm using some of this. This is awesome stuff. This is tiny flakes, lots of multiple colours, and you can get this in different shades as well. I'll leave a few links in the description for this stuff. It's one of my new favourite things. So, let's just put this over the top, push the button, and leave that for, well, about a minute and a half. There we go. Once that's gone out, that stuff is now set enough to be using this. So it's hard. I'm not going to touch it because it leaves, you can actually push a fingerprint into it at this point, but it won't dent. You see how light this is? It's just beautiful. We can just spread that in there, try not to allow it to clump so much, and use your specialist super soft brush. It's not really a specialist, anything you've got will do, just as long as it's soft. And just kind of dab it in, and you see how parts of it stick. If it's sat on top of other stuff, it doesn't stick. So you just keep going until all of that resin is covered. I believe this colour palette is called Autumn. Kind of works really nicely, doesn't it? So by working that really into the corners, everywhere inside there is now covered. Beautiful. Now don't forget to put the lid on, just in case you sneeze, because that will go absolutely everywhere. So once you've got it looking like that, It's just a simple matter of then topping that up with the rest of this. When you think you're getting full, you can just pause, let it settle for a little while. Get down and look across it. Is it starting to bow slightly above the level of the wood, which we kind of want it to do, and then you've got something to sand back. We don't want it to run lower than. We see how crystal clear that is. Yeah, you can just see on the edges we just need a little bit more topping up because that's sinking at slightly lower than the wood. And once you're happy with the amount and you've got rid of any air bubbles, give it a tap and it sets again in a few minutes. Now, a very sharp plane can actually skim that off quite nicely, but chances are it's just easier if you get your random orbital sander out, start with something like a 240 grit and just work down till it's flat. Now, once that's sanded flat, it might look a little bit matte coloured. Don't worry about that. Whatever finish you're going to put on your wood, this will take on top of that as well. So I quite often put a Danish oil on and everything looks the same. You could, if you wanted to, polish that stuff up. A little bit of polish on a cloth. Don't over egg it because you can wear the stuff away. But just put in a little bit on like that and then polish that up. And you'll actually get quite a decent shine out of that without too much effort. There we go, so that's coming up a lot nicer. And with a little bit of Danish oil, don't they just come out absolutely spectacular. And there we have 3 different styles of inlay, ranging from hard through to easy. Now please don't think that that is then the best one down to the cheap and nasty one, because I don't think it is. You might disagree, and a lot of this really is about personal preference and what look you're going for. I mentioned earlier about this sometimes feeling a little bit chintzy. Well, sometimes that might be exactly what you want. You want that high grade finesse, superior, yada yada yada. Sometimes you just want a one blanket colour that's going to look nice. The resin for me works brilliantly as a logo filler. So if you want to just classically put your logo tucked away on a piece of furniture or a guitar headstock or whatever, this technique works really, really well. And then of course you can start combining the 3 of them together if you wanted to. So maybe you've got some different coloured woods and then you've got some resin sections in there with a little bit of stone work to boot, just to kind of make an area pop. Now, if you haven't tried any of these before, I urge you to have a go. If you do an inlay style that's different to these 3, please, please, please leave a comment in below. Find me on Instagram and send me some pictures of what you've done. I'd love to see different styles, different workings of how to do inlays, and see if you can range it on the easy to hard scale and whether you think it might be worth doing. Now, I've got a few different guitar builds coming up soon which will definitely have some of these techniques in there. Make sure you click subscribe and like the thing and do all these little things underneath here. In the meantime, watch this video because I think you'll really love it. Take care and I'll see you soon. God bless.